Hey, what's happening, everybody? So, I'm Chad. This is
Arianna.
and we just saw Saving Private Ryan. This is my not too many times. I think I've only really seen it once before, but
Oh, it was my whole first time, and it was a whole ass emotional, not even an emotional roller coaster. I keep trying to use that term, but that's not what it was.
Yeah.
It was just all sadness. And
if you start at the top of the roller coaster and then just work your way down,
it's like that one that stops back like this and then just like drops
hangs
you.
for a second. Yeah.
That's what that was, for sure.
So a quick recap. Saving Private Ryan is about a company that is tasked to go and save Private Ryan. The reason being is that his brothers have all been killed, and in World War II there was a precedent that if you were the last living brother, out of your group, then they didn't want your bloodline to basically die with you, so they would do what they could to try to, bring you back into the fold. At different points in the war, that was easier or harder, but at this point in the war, it was nearly impossible. As Tom Hanks put it, it's trying to find a needle in a stack of needles. So, what did you think about Saving Private Ryan? You got any thoughts for the people?
Yeah, so you have to understand, I knew nothing about this movie going in. I knew it was a big war film. That's all I've had. I've seen Pearl Harbor. So, that's like the base war film I have to go off of besides, whatever Civil War flicks are out there. The Patriot, I've seen that, whatever. Yeah. So I, really didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. I didn't really truly know the premise of the movie. And when I found that out, it was just, shook. Because I could only imagine the moral dilemmas that are about to arrive within, this whole mission, and it just it blew my mind from start to finish. It was so well done. The visuals were incredible.
Well, you're talking about moral dilemmas. I think that's part of why so much of it works is because it's not really about the war.
No.
And it hyper focuses on one squad.
Right.
And within the squad, it hyper focuses. Each of them kind of are avatars for different perspectives.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Upham character is so important.
Oh,
is
man.
Because he's us.
That last scene, too. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got the most interesting arc for sure. My whole life I hated Upham because of that scene where he lets Mellish die. That is so hard.
Oh, watching that was really painful because I was like, all you have to do is get, I think I even say it in my reaction. I was like, I don't know what I could do in that situation. Everyone reacts to trauma and scenarios differently, but I was screaming, just get a little bit of courage and save this man. He's been screaming for you for however long, and I'm sure it's longer in real time.
Right.
And you can't move because you're so scared because you've never seen combat, but also at the same time he's not trained for that. It's the first high pressure situation he's found himself in, so it is really, I understand how it is that hard for his character, but you want to root for him, and then you're like, oh man, dude, you really just let a person down. The man died from a stab wound. He wasn't even shot in combat or blown up 95% of the rest of them.
That's how it happens. When the guy in German is telling him it's okay, it'll be better this way. It'll be over soon. Oh, that's so, and him being like, stop.
Right, can we just come to a ceasefire there? So that was
so tough. But what it does is that scene is wrapped around of them having saved the one guy because of the rules of engagement and what's right, and then at the end him having kind of broken because of the Mello situation and then shooting the guy, and then Ryben was right. He did get folded back in and then came back, and he's the one who shoots the captain who let him go. It's so crazy to have that, that whole
entire arc is insane.
And there's a lot of those little arcs that I love, like Ryben and Mike. I can't remember his last name.
Horvath, H-O-R, They
Horvath is about to shoot Ryben at one point,
and he's carrying him off the thing.
That's
that was
so
and I
beautiful.
I hate to say it, I saw it when I realized it was them too, and he had the bazooka, and it was them before they're blow up the bridge. I was oh man, this is gonna be I thought they were both gonna die, and it was gonna be in that scene. So it's kind of cool that Ryben. I really thought that was.
Well, it's also cool that Ryben lives because Ryben's the one who gripes the entire time.
Oh, just that look that he gives.
That's so good, right? Oh yeah.
Gives Ryan. Oh, and that part right before it all takes off, that little nod, you kind of. This wasn't a worthless mission because had you not decided that we wanted to say, we all wouldn't have been here to protect this, what I mean?
That's
type of thing.
Right. It's an important mission.
Because they're all about their whole team is about finishing the war and doing what they have to do to win the war, you know what I mean? And
they go home. It's this is kind of their ticket. It's look, we saved this guy. Maybe we all get to go home, call it a day, So I think it's, that was beautiful because he was so, I forgive you, basically.
Right, exactly.
I've hated you this whole time. And you know what, man? You're all right. You're all right. So that's so just lovely. Oh my gosh. I think the first thing, because, the very first thing that really breaks me and I always cry on is obviously the mother receiving all the
that
letters.
was the most, I mean, granted, the second half of that movie was fucking terrible for me too. But I literally, like, no joke, guys, I don't cry at movies. I'm not like, I don't think I ever actually cried in The Notebook at the end of the scene. You know, the number one getting scene of like our generation. I don't even think I've actually had like, I'm sure I shed a tear or something, but to have that physical, emotional response to watching that woman learning about losing her 3 sons was just
how they
so
shot
impactful.
it.
Oh yeah,
so perfectly. Like she just lies down on the ground.
It's just like she sees it. She sees the chaplain. She knows, but also at the same time, you know, she's not expecting to hear about all three of them.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like she's like, oh, one, like also 4 children of the war. Like, what are your odds there anyway in World War II?
Yeah.
Like,
There's
it's already not
they all
great.
don't come home, right?
Exactly.
Especially when you see how Omaha was.
Oh yeah, and it's just so that scene broke me internally a little bit.
The next big one that always really wrecks me is when Giovanni Ribisi gets got as their doc, and that was also so smart that the first guy who goes is their doc.
It's their medic, and just especially like I said, after having that scene in the church where he's talking about, and then they have him screaming for his mom.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh my god! It breaks
so
you. It's like, what can we do for you? What do you, like, and when he says morphine, they all knew there was, like, he doesn't even believe that he could be able to save himself.
Yeah, there was a saying in World War II, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it was, like, 1, to, like, make the pain go away, and then 2, to like, basically make everything go away.
Right.
Like, you basically 2 is lethal.
Yeah.
And he gets, like, 3, you know?
Yeah.
And, him just realizing, you know, that's out. And
that's
also,
just a huge statement.
But you also connect with all of them with that hopeless feeling of, like, tell us how to fix you. And it's like, dude, I am,
it's done. He's like, is it in my spine? And then like when he has a realization that it's his liver.
Yeah, because he can feel.
Yeah, and he's like, he knows.
Well, also Miller tells him that he's like, do I have any exit wounds? And he's like, yeah, it's about the size of an acorn. Like,
right.
That's a huge exit. Like they're not patching him up with a field kit. You know,
no, absolutely not.
Honestly, there's probably not much doctors could have done for him at the time. You know, so it's just so tragic.
And also, if I even got caught today, you'd have to make it to hospital like immediately and go to immediate surgery and probably like have like 6 transfusions. Yeah, like there's no there was no saving him from jump. Just period.
That was so bad. So,
but, oh my god, that was a huge scene too.
And so that's why it all really makes it hit home so well, because you love these characters, you know these characters, and it makes it hit home so well when at the end he tells them like, earn this, you know, because you know what the cost was.
Gosh,
you connected so well.
Like you've already built this relationship with all of them, and it was just like,
And then you brought up that you reckon as. So it's when you figured out what the mission was, is when you think you figured out that Ryan was the guy from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that makes the most, like, it's obviously not going to be Tom. The whole premise is Saving Private Ryan. Obviously, there's going to be some sacrifice there, you know what I mean? And especially when you realize how many people you lose even before they get to him.
Oh, yeah.
So then once you find out the mission, it's like, oh, that last guy, he's going to see these graves of these men who saved him. Like, I kind of think that's a little self-explanatory.
Yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys caught that right away, because I saw it the first time, I think, when I was like 11. And so I was convinced that was Tom Hanks, because he's the first guy you kind of connect with. Right. And, you know,
blue eyes, all that good stuff.
It asks you, well, and he looks like he's reminiscing on something, and then immediately you cut to the beach. So you're thinking, oh, he's remembering being on the beach, and so who's on the beach? Oh, Tom Hanks. And so, yeah, it's just the themes are so strong, and talking about the arcs that go through, there's just they set up and pay off things so well, and a lot of that second half or the last third of the movie has these really cool payoffs. My favorite character in the whole thing has always been Jackson, the sniper. I
loved his character. Like I was getting so upset because like while you start saying his prayer, I was like, this is the scene where he's getting, because I didn't expect as many people to make it out as did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, truthfully, like, the way I felt, like, I thought for sure, like, when that war scene started and you feel hear the vibration of the tanks. 3 of them
make it, I guess,
You hear the vibration of tanks. Like, I got it full body chills because, like, we're about to lose all of our characters. And, like, and you can feel it. Like, it's set up it's so well done.
It's 300. Like, it's the battle of Thermopylae.
Exactly.
Like,
it's
always,
like, you feel it. Like,
it's a couple of guys against a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And, you know,
it's the Alamo. They even reference the Alamo. That's
exactly.
The same thing, you know?
It's like the last person blows out the bridge. And I thought for sure, like, I mean, I had in my head that it was going to be Ryan who blows up the bridge. He's the last one standing. Yep. That's it. So the fact that it did work out the way it was and the planes had come in, that was, oh my gosh, so incredibly surprising.
What a well done scene, too. Him shooting the tank, and you're like,
and then blows up, and I'm like, how did he didn't hit that just perfectly? And then you see the plane, and I was like, there's no way he got that lucky and hit the right exact spot where it could possibly explode. I was like, damn, that was a good
spot.
No, I mean, I have no idea how that kind of stuff works.
I mean, popular
but then you
video
realize,
games,
like you said, it's so well done. The moment you realize it's a plane, it's huge, and he really
Oh, so huge.
At least he got to also see his hard work and everything he's been fighting with internally through this whole time. That Tom Hanks' character, the whole time, he gets to see it completely come to fruition, and that they did hold that bridge, and that was a huge part of the war. And like he at least got to see that before he passes, which I think is tremendous.
It is tremendous because he has his whole arc, not arc, but his whole thing is that he's like, I just want to earn the right to go back to my wife. And by the end, it kind of feels like he's earned his right to go to heaven.
Right.
You know? It's
exactly.
Like, I did something good. I earned this. This was worth it. You know, all of this meant something.
Absolutely.
Which is just couldn't be more beautiful. It's so well done. I mean, Spielberg just knows how to do over the top, super emotional, you know, heavy topics like this, and not make them come across as cynical, you know?
Right,
It's an issue, you know, you guys anyone who watched before may have seen, you know, we used to talk about 13 Reasons Why, and it was like, that whole show felt so cynical to me, where it's like, you don't deserve to handle such heavy topics because these topics deserve that touch that Spielberg can do. So when you guys do them like this, it feels so hollow, and like, you guys don't really care, you're just trying to force people to cry, but like, Spielberg feels like he has the respect for it, which is also backed up by another movie we'll do down the road. We're definitely at some point going to do Schindler's List. And that's another one where it's like, that's the heaviest topic you could possibly ever handle. And he actually...
I'm just saying, now that I've realized now that I've become a movie crier, I'm not excited about Schindler's List. And I've seen so many documentaries on the Holocaust. I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. You want to talk about a fucking... Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if... so that's it. We're getting off topic. But I was like...
He's so good at taking a huge topic and then being like, okay, we're going to see this through the eyes of a handful
Schindler
of people.
List as well?
That's him.
Schindler's List.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
dude, I'm definitely not wearing mascara again, because like by the end of it, I like went and watched when we got done with that, and he was like, "You want to do a break before the review?" I'm like, "Yes, please. Can we please?" And I went in, and I was like, "I have mascara the whole way up here." I'm like, "Okay, so now we know no eye makeup for the next sad movie you guys vote on me to watch."
Yeah,
so.
we're in ahead of time. Alrighty, so out of 5 stars, what would you give Saving Private Ryan?
4.75, and the only reason I'm not giving it a whole 5 stars is because honestly the crying amount that little moment where we're having that, like I say it the little section where we're having a happy relatable moment, there's like 2 of them in the whole movie, and it's okay, I'll be down, but I was down for however long that movie is, the majority of it, you know what I mean?
It's actually smart though, because it's a thing of giving you a bit of reprieve to recharge you so you can get into
exactly. I was saying I knew, because then I was just like, oh, this is
because if it's all just straight sad the whole time, eventually you'll hit a limit, and then you'll kind of be at your sad limit, and then you won't you'll get accustomed to it.
Your emotions peak at that point. You're just sad.
You're like, I can't get sadder than this, so you kind of stop crying and stuff. So he kind of gives you that curveball.
And I would say also, I do think it's a movie that everyone should see at least once, especially if they're not familiar with the way of. I mean, I would love for no one to be, relevant, familiar with the ways of war. But I think it does put it a lot into perspective, especially at that time when you're working with so little and you're so not as evolved per se than what we are doing in normalized warfare. And it's just that hand to hand, like you said with the Milish. Is that how you say his last name? Mellish. Seeing that hand to hand combat, you're not seeing it as much, and that's just so. You're face to face with your enemy, and it's just huge. I just think it would give people a little bit more respect.
Yeah. And the war didn't just end by itself, So people had to go out there and make that happen. That wasn't guaranteed.
Exactly.
There's a lot. There's so many moving parts in World War II, but certain things could have gone differently. And it's most of Europe could be speaking German. And so the whole world could be drastically different if things didn't go the way they did. Yeah. So I do think it's that thing of just remembering what happened and knowing. And every new generation needs at least those touchstones, especially for potentially the last war. That's pretty inarguably that was worth it.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, he made a comment to me when we first started. He said, "I think this is Tom Hanks' best film." I said, "Over Forrest Gump? How would you say that?" And I have to say, I do completely agree with you. And I did not think I was going to agree with you on that opinion.
Not to take anything away from Forrest Gump. It's incredible.
No. Forrest Gump's one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. But no, that his performance there was immaculate. Oh, man, absolutely well done.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. The if I had to submit a scene for best actor, it would be him explaining hey, what's the pull on me?
That whole scene, the way he de-escalated that situation was just it was so well done.
And you can't see it going well.
No,
it's so messed up.
not
You're
at
like,
all.
This
This
is
is
gonna go
all
so
bad. That whole scene is so rough, and it's like watching the characters like be pulled in so many different types of ways in that.
Well, and then him having to like sneak off to the side to go cry alone because he looks strong for his men. Like, it just breaks me every time. Tom Hanks, man, he knows how to do that stuff, dude. Like, he is just
he's
seriously,
incredible.
He's an A-lister
he's one
for
of my
a reason.
favorite. Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. By far.
He has a scene like that in a movie called Captain Phillips, and the whole movie as a whole, it's all right. But that end scene when he has a very similar, crying scene like that dude just knows how to get into that headspace. And so, so it's funny. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5, but I don't ever give anything like perfect scores, and this is one of those rare instances where I think the movie deserves it. It is. There's not a single point that makes me roll my eyes. There's not a single point that's like, why did you shoot it like that? That's another thing we didn't get into. I mean, the movie is shot so interestingly.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of really interesting takes they do for things that they don't have to. I love the shot where it's after they're in the church and everyone's kind of had their moments to talk, and then he's thinking, or it kind of lingers on his face, and then it fades into a shot where it's all of them walking on a line, silhouette, and there's lightning going off in the background.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's really cool. Another one is I love the sound design like for the tank at the end, like when the tank first crests that hill. And and it comes down,
absolutely.
Just, like, boss level showed up. Like, here's the boss. Like, what do we do? And of course, it shows up after they have totally expended all of their everything.
Right, exactly. They're all out of everything.
Basically out of guys. It seems like they probably only had 20 dudes in that whole.
That's what I was trying to figure out in the first place how many I was down to, and then when they're I'm like, why am I trying to count? I was like, I think I was just trying to distract myself from the immense amount of crying that was already happening.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. No, you're seeing a lot of reactions. People either start singing or they'll like start talking about some other topic because it's like, I was like, I'm gonna count how many people have still made it so I can have a little bit more hope. Well, and in that 20 seconds, like you said, when they're talking about the girl with her boobs and stuff, it's like even that is making you stressed out because you're like, I just know this is the comment.
I know this is the comment. Yeah, exactly.
I wish the movie would just end. But it's
stop putting me through this.
And then also like I know everyone ain't making it out.
No,
so who's gonna die? And like you said, I'm assuming everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, I was just like everyone's dead besides Ryan.
Besides maybe just Ryan. So I think it was even kind of subversive for them to have a couple of them survive.
Absolutely.
And it almost gives another level of realism. Now, having said that too, it's also based on a true story. So there's kind of moving parts there. It's not the most accurate movie ever made, but generally speaking, it's considered done very, very, very well. Done very well. And a lot of the things that are wrong are kind of minutia. It's like that, they didn't land in that beach or they didn't, that kind of stuff. So it's whatever.
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, so that was that. And catch us next week for what we do next. I think the next one going up is I don't know. We'll see what order these things come out. We got a couple in the
If he makes me cry 2 times in a row, guys. If you vote for another sad movie right after this, I'm gonna be mad.
Actually, do you have an idea for a movie? And no, it won't make me cry.
It won't be a sad one. Okay, awesome.
I want to try to offset.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My emotions appreciate that. My day-to-day life
For
appreciates
sure, exactly. All right, bye everybody.
Bye guys.